Good afternoon, the chairman of this occasion, our distinguished guest speaker, members of the IEF Board of Trustees, our beloved principal, other members of the Management Council, parents, staff, students, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olisa Uduje, and once again, I'm the Senior Prefect of the class of 2025. When I was told I had to give a speech, honestly, I was unsure of myself at first. So I fell back on 3 plans. Plan A was YouTube. Searching all the titles, they were a bit crazy, but there was one that stood out to me. This speech made the whole auditorium cry. But today, I have no plans of making you cry today. Plan B was a friend I never expected to have, but the one that saved me from a lifetime of homework and unanswered questions. Can you guys guess? ChatGPT, yeah. But after my first prompt, I quickly realized why ChatGPT isn't used for speeches. I could already see myself ending this speech with, tailor this speech to your own needs, or would you like to send this as a message? So finally, I turned to plan C, my brain, the large reservoir of memories and ideas waiting to be expressed. So today, you're hearing the authentic me. At the start of this session, I had the privilege of meeting the incoming GS1 students. I remember the mix of naivety and excitement on their faces. Some were saying "sir" for the first time in their oversized blazers and poorly knotted ties, but they were still adjusting to the school culture. I saw many parents, especially moms, holding tightly onto their kids, reluctant to let go. I had a few conversations with them, just trying to calm their nerves and reassure them that they brought their kids to the right place. And then, in that moment, it made me realize we never walked this journey alone. We had our parents from day one, supporting us, guiding us, and cheering us on. And in our own way, we were holding on to them too. So I want to take a moment to thank all the parents in this building, and especially my own parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ernest Uduje. Our teachers were also there on that day, committing to help them grow, not just academically, but as young men. As the day went on, there was one mom, I'm sorry moms, I've called you a lot, who never really left. And I had a conversation with her, and she asked me a question I didn't expect. How would you say your time in White Sands was, or has been? And in that moment, it felt like I stepped back into a time machine, straight back to GS1, where everything was fresh and exciting. The friendships were new, the subjects, and new routines, and everything was just so beautiful. And yes, let's not forget how many classes were mysteriously paused for football. Mr. Oscar, a proud Chelsea fan, was the pioneer of this movement. And for Arsenal fans like me, business studies class would always feel like enemy territory. But to explain it all, I'll borrow a verse from the Bible. To everything there's a season, and for every purpose under heaven. Now, Arsenal is in a much, much better place. And Mr. Oscar knows he can't talk football with me like he used to. Meanwhile, in our own way we were changing, the world outside was also changing. COVID-19 was silently brewing, and soon it reached its gate of White Sands. Our normal White Sands life came to a sudden halt, and we moved from packed classrooms to online lessons. And honestly, I never thought online school would happen. I thought it would just be, I imagined it as a faraway land where I just sleep all day and prank teachers. And yes, it did start exactly like that. We watched endless YouTube videos, played games while classes were going on, and pulled the classic Alt F4 prank on teachers. For anyone who doesn't know what the Alt F4 prank is, it's a command where the teacher's laptop will completely go off. And in doing that, we'll give ourselves extra 20 minutes of class free time. But soon, we adapted, we learned, we laughed, and as unexpectedly as it began, online school came to an end. I vividly remember Mr. Ochibili saying, I know half of you are not listening to my class, and it's okay. Just know your exams are coming, and you're writing it physically. We all laughed heartily behind our screens, thinking he was joking. But then, exams came, and it was physical. We were in our masks, socially distanced, and to say the least, that exam was the most humbling experience of my life. By then, we were in GSS3, with just 1 year left in junior school. We were on top of the world, untouchable, and with nothing holding us back. That final year was something special. We ran around the school like we owned it, playing games like 4 posts in gazebo and first to class, running like it was a 100-meter final. That kind of joy, the kind that lives in small, silly moments, was what made White Sands feel like home. Now, while I'm here, I'd like to take a moment to publicly apologize to Mr. Paul, the receptionist. Sir, we are truly sorry for using your desk as a pivot point every time you ran up and down the stairs. It was never ever personal. We just thought to give us the right kind of angle to get up and down the stairs. So we thank you for your patience, and honestly, you deserve a promotion for what you put up with. Then came senior school. Everything changed. Senior school had its own different air entirely, new teachers, a new block, and a new sense of freedom that came with age. Suddenly, when your tie wasn't just an everyday rule, it felt like a badge of maturity. You got to choose your own subjects, and that freedom also came with its own real responsibility. You had to stand by the choices or be wise enough to admit when you had made the wrong one. And we made mistakes. We failed a few times, but that was all part of the growing process. Every setback became a lesson. Every challenge helped us understand ourselves a little bit more. And he also got his own fair share of surprises and shocks. The first was how seamlessly we went from being a full class to a half class. One moment, the room was full, and the next, it felt like everyone had gone on to their own electives, doing their own thing. Next was the staff room, the scariest place in the entire senior school. It felt like the teachers guarded the door with their lives, and honestly, I wouldn't blame them. Imagine having a class where the students make it impossible to teach, and you have one student who has made it their prime purpose to make sure that he can't teach. And the next thing, he's knocking on that door, asking you for 3 marks, extra 3 marks. I still remember my first time stepping in. I prepared for it like it was an interview. Tucked in my shirt, shoes tied, hair combed, and I think I sprayed a bit of perfume. I took a deep breath in, looked through that glass door, and walked in. I didn't even finish my first words before Mr. John Eno, in the politest way possible, said, "Please, could you get out?" I couldn't believe it. It turns out I forgot to knock. But eventually, we learned the rules. But at that moment, it just felt like a scene from the movie. The classes themselves were amazing, and the teachers did their best to make every lesson memorable. Speaking of teachers, White Sands truly has one of the best teaching staff you can find. What made them special wasn't just their knowledge of the subject, but their ability to connect with us as real people. They understand the pressures we face, the jokes we laughed at, and even the struggles we tried to hide. And in the end, what made them stand out was not just that they taught well, but that they were also very relatable. So here, I need the graduating class of 2025 to finish these phrases. You know you're about to have a good day when Mr. Ganyu stops you and asks you, "Why are you flying your shirt? Are you a?" Or when Mr. Julius asks us not to be sheep, but to be. Or when, in classic Mr. Ganyu, after he opens the door, who opened the door? And finally, you know your day is, I can't even explain, when you've packed your sportswear on Wednesday in SS2, and Mr. Yamu walks into the class and pulls out the classic paper in hand. If your name is on this list, once the bell for sports rings, please find your way to my office. And we did find his way to his office a lot of times. I also cannot forget the sports department. Honestly, I came to White Sands because of that pitch behind me. And that pitch never disappointed. For 6 years, it was more than just grass and goalposts. It was where friendships were built, rivalries were born, and where dreams felt real. Those afternoons under the scorching sun, chasing every ball like our lives depended on it, taught us lessons that went beyond football. So to Coach Aluma, Coach Ignatius, and Coach Roland, thank you. You weren't just coaches, you were our mentors. Then there was prefectship. From day one at White Sands, we all knew what it meant to wear that badge and the prestige it carried. When it was finally our turn, those 2 weeks of selection were some of the best times for teachers. Suddenly, classes were quiet, students dressed their best, and teachers got VIP treatment. The hustlers hustled for recommendations, while the hard guys, quote unquote hard guys, sat back, trusting the work they had put in over these 6 years. Another soothsayer, I will say, my JS1 class teacher, Mr. Anthony Ezulike, told me what he told me after I became the class captain. He said, "Every class captain I have had has become the senior prefect. Don't disappoint me." So, serving in that role and watching my classmates take up leadership positions was one of the proudest moments of my life. So, today, as I officially hand over the mantle of leadership to Chukwuebuka Udenzi and the acting senior prefect in the building, I say enjoy the role and responsibilities that come with it. I've seen you guys in action, and I trust your ability to take White Sands to new heights. Now, before I close, I want to take a moment to talk about belief. If there's one thing White Sands taught us beyond academics, it's belief. Belief in ourselves, believe in others, and most importantly, believe in the Almighty God, who is bigger than us all. Because the truth is, life here wasn't always smooth, but each time, belief pulled us through. I know you guys are very conversant with this name, but my friend Obuneme, who once scored a 400% in a continuous assessment, showed that focus and consistency can make the impossible possible. And I felt it personally when I finally won the 3,000 meters race after failing to win it twice in a row. Even though I had people who doubted me, like Ayobami Aoko and Tobiloba Eleshinla. 2 failures could have been the end, but belief turned the story around. And that's what belief does. It pushes you past your limits and reminds you that setbacks are not full stops, but just commas in your story. So, to the class of 2025, we made it and we did it. Over 22,464 seconds in this school. We had 9,360 classes, 1,200 lunches, 960 morning assemblies, 36 continuous assessments, 18 exams, 18 school terms, 6 first days of school, 6 years of this school, 3 as juniors and 3 as seniors. And 1 graduation ceremony later. And as we step out of these walls and into the world, let's go with courage, with faith, and with belief. Doc and Autumn, into the deep, guys. Thank you very much.